Hello, and welcome to the 69th episode of Recluse Horror. This is a daily horror movie review podcast. So just a little background on the project. Back on my birthday in April, I decided I wanted to watch and review a horror movie every single day. I have done so for the past 336 days. Although only the last 69 have been podcasts. Before that, it was text reviews. So I had a little bit of a weird day today. I was really hoping I would get a chance to watch a feature length today, but I had a kind of a weird mental health day, and as I said, that there was an event at my house, and usually I have a bunch of my roommates here to help sort of, just keep an eye on things. There weren't any actual problems, but like I said, was having a weird mental health day, and so, I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of, as, if you've ever hosted a party or anything where there were a lot of people in your house, sometimes it's just a little weird having people in your space, and I started to feel a little overwhelmed, and so I, after everybody left, I sort of took some time to try to sort my head out a little bit, and, got something to eat, and it didn't really leave me with much time to watch anything. So, apologies if you were looking forward to a feature length today. But what I do have is a really good, short film. I was not really anticipating a ton from this one. I didn't think it would be bad by any stretch of the imagination, but this one far exceeded my expectation for it. There's really not a bad aspect to this. It's called Peephole from 2018, and unfortunately, just due to the nature of it being an incredibly short film, it's like 3 minutes and 48 seconds, I think. I could be a little off on that, but it's rather short. And this one can, kind of really be spoiled for you, so there's really frustratingly little that I can talk about, with the actual story, other than to say that it was kind of awesome, and it was not what I was expecting. So the story is basically, the synopsis of what I would give it, is a guy is, asleep on his couch, and he gets a knock at his door. And that's really as much as I can say without really ruining something for you. I really do. I don't necessarily suggest that everybody watch everything that I review. I understand people have a finite amount of time. Some people don't like short films, whatever. I really liked this one. It's certainly not the best short film that I've ever seen, but I was very, very much impressed with it. And this film, I think it only, now mind you, it hasn't been out terribly long. I think it's only been out a month, but it's only got like 1,500 views or something like that. And the channel itself, only has, I think 58 subscribers, including myself, actually. So I really would suggest checking this out, and maybe checking some of their other stuff out. I have no idea if any of their other stuff is worth watching. I haven't watched any of it, but for anybody who's doing this this sort of a thing that's this small, and people haven't started watching it yet, I would really suggest watching this one, and showing your support for it. Yeah, it has 1,400 views and 59 likes, including my own. The video has 59 likes. The channel has 58 subscribers. So, the channel. Sorry, I'm just reading this as I'm talking. So, but the channel is called Jash Pictures Inc. or Jash Pictures Inc. That's JASH. And it's only been out for a month. I'm sure it'll get more views, but this one was really something. And again, it was not what I was expecting going into it. There's really not a bad element to this, honestly. There's definitely some questions by the end of it that probably would have been interesting to answer, but honestly, this really does stand on its own. None of those questions need for any reason need to be answered. It is what it is. It gives you a beginning, a middle, and pretty much an end. within a less than 4 minute, movie. So I can expect no more from this. Now, the one of the neater parts about this, honestly, is the acting. I think the acting is possibly the strongest element. And it doesn't look like this actor, there's only one actor in it, really. And it's pretty much the only thing that he's been in. He was in another short film by the same person who directed and wrote this. The director's name is Jaron Henri McCrea. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would be pronounced. McCrea, maybe? I don't know. I've seen the name before. I don't know why I don't know how to pronounce it. But that's according to IMDb. I actually suspect that this Tim Lukey, the actor, I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, it's kind of a weird one to pronounce, but I think he actually has been in other stuff, because I think he's been in another one with that same director, just having, glanced through some stuff, and that's not listed on the IMDb, even though that short film that he did with the same director does exist on IMDb. So I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but IMDb is often, especially with short film actors and stuff like that, is not very consistent, and not necessarily even very accurate. It's kind of a spoiler from the one yesterday, but there is an actor that's listed with the wrong gender. I looked up in other places to confirm this, but the actor was listed with the wrong gender for some reason on IMDb. So obviously, there's not a whole lot of accuracy to that, apparently, which I've noticed a lot. But anyway, the acting is probably the best part of this. I think easily. There's a lot of challenges to this specific role. There's no dialogue. There doesn't need to be dialogue. It's not like a choice, like they were just unsure of whether this actor would be able to handle that. I don't know, because he didn't speak in this one, but I don't feel like he would have any problem with that. It's not necessarily a mood thing. It's the situation that happens requires no dialogue, and so they didn't use it. But there is still a lot. You need a lot from this. There's a fair amount of emoting in this, and it's done well. There's some physical stuff that would have been very, very difficult to achieve, and convincingly anyhow, and it was. So I think that's really the best part. The mood of it is the mood of the movie is pretty good. There's a real transition between, and I won't say which emotions, because even that is almost a spoiler, but there's a real transition, where you really do kind of feel the same things that the actor himself is feeling, or at least I did when I was watching it, and I was a little emotionally exhausted, so sometimes it can be really hard to put yourself into that, or at least for me it can. Even if I appreciate like a performance or something, if I'm feeling as emotionally exhausted as I have been today, it can be very hard to get into that. Even if I know on a different day I would definitely have been like really sucked into it, but this one did. All of the ways that you're supposed to feel, the way that he feels, is how I felt watching this, which is really neat, because the mood shifts quite a bit from one point to another. The lighting and the music. He fell asleep with the TV on, and there's something on the TV, and it's a very interesting choice for the soundtrack. I think it actually does help with there's a particular mood midway towards the middle of the film, that I think that really helps solidify and make you sure what they were trying to get across, and I think it makes it a little bit more palatable. Plus, it's just sort of interesting on its own. They do show some footage of this, pointing camera at the TV, and it is a pretty interesting thing to be shown. The lighting in general, just all around, is very good. The location is interesting. There's two sorts of areas that they film in this, and both of them are interesting for different reasons without feeling like cluttered or anything. The lighting, especially in one specific location, very, very good. But they're both very good. You see exactly what they're trying to show you, and it looks very natural to the circumstance because, which is sort of hard to achieve again under circumstances that I can't really talk about without much spoilers. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think there's really a bad thing about this. I don't think there's a bad element to this short film. The pacing, I know it's weird to talk about pacing in such a short film, but, you know, no single part of this, sometimes in a short film, especially, you know, a shorter short film, there can be little moments where you're like, why did they spend 15 seconds on this? They shouldn't have spent 15 seconds on this. Like, it was unnecessary. They should have spent it instead doing this. I felt like every single, like, 10-second, 15-second block, however you want to put it out there, was exactly what it needed to be doing. Again, weird to talk about pacing on such a small one, but again, I've had so many experiences with these short films, and I usually don't bring it up if it's poorly paced necessarily in short films, just because, again, it's like, you know, they're 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, whatever it is. You can sit through it, but it does sometimes it is a little funny, the things that certain filmmakers decide is worth spending 30 seconds of a 7-minute film on. This one, I felt like everything was necessary, everything felt like it should be, and nothing felt rushed, which can also be a problem sometimes. It's a less frequent problem because people are more than willing to, like, lengthen a short film and make it a slightly larger short film most of the time. But I have seen that as well, where it feels like they're just kind of rushing through things. I think everything felt exactly the rhythm that it should have felt. Everything was done for exactly as long as it should have been done. I don't know. The visuals are also, you know, pretty good. There's not really a ton of effects or anything like this. This story just didn't need it. But, regardless of that, I think the location and how they decided to light those locations, kind of made up for anything that you might feel like is a lack of like visuals of any kind. I was really terrified when I went into this, thinking that this movie was just going to be another, like, run-of-the-mill sort of story. The title is, I mean, the title makes sense for this one. You know, it does make sense for this story. But there's like 50 movies called Peephole, and they're usually approximately the same movie. This one is not that movie. At least I have seen a few films and short films that were called Peephole or had some variation upon that, and they all pretty much seem to be the same movie. This one is definitely different. There are some things that I definitely wish I could talk about, because they're the things that are going to make somebody actually want to watch this movie. And you really can't, or you're going to ruin it for all the people who are already sold on it. And I would rather not ruin it. You know how I am about spoilers, so I really won't talk about it as much as I am kind of dying to. But yeah, honestly, I think this is great. I really don't know what more to say about it. It's very short. It's not a big commitment. It costs nothing. If you're a horror fan, if you're interested in short films, really anybody who would be interested in watching any kind of a short film, I don't think this one is too overbearing to appeal to non-horror fans. Okay, I in no way remember what I was just talking about. My roommate's cat, like I said, my roommates are out of town, and my roommate's cat is very unhappy about it today. So, she just came in. Did you want to talk to them, kitty? No, you just want to walk near the mic? Do you want to hit it with your tail? But yeah, she demanded in. She almost broke down my door. So, yeah, anyway, people, very good. Check out their stuff. It looks like their channel's been around for a while. I don't know how much stuff is on there, how much horror stuff is on there, but If they continue to put out work like this, then I'm gonna be very happy. Yeah, I guess that's it. Sorry, I keep looking over at the cat, so I know it sounds weird when I'm not facing the mic, but, yeah, that's my review of Peephole from 2008, and, that's my show today. So, I hope it wasn't too terrible. I don't remember if I covered everything. There's definitely a ton I wanted to talk about that I couldn't, but whatever. Everything's a spoiler in a 4-minute movie, so. If you, enjoyed this podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, or whatever it is on whatever site that you found us. The best way that you can help out the show, is to share it with someone that you love or someone that you think will enjoy the podcast. If you would like to share it with someone and they do not have the same platform as you, or or if you don't like the platform that you found us, we are on YouTube, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much any podcatcher out there. You can reach out to us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Eventually, hopefully, I'll get some Instagram pictures up. I think the last one that I had up was like 30 episodes ago, or something like that. It feels like a long time ago. But, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it. I'm gonna go make sure this cat doesn't die or something. Have a good night.